work, but they are continually treated as outcasts and denied the most ordinary justice. The various trials of Oscar Wilde are to the thinker an object lesson in the force of this prejudice. But some may explain the prejudice against Wilde on the score of the peculiar abhorrence with which the offence ascribed to him is regarded in England. Let me take an example from the papers of today. I am writing in January 1910. I find in my Daily Mail that at Bow Street Police Court a London magistrate, Sir Albert de Rutzen, ordered the destruction of 272 volumes of the English translation of Balzac's Les Contes Drolatiques on the grounds that the book was obscene. Les Contes Drolatiques is an acknowledged masterpiece, and is not nearly so free-spoken as Lear or Hamlet or Tom Jones or Antony and Cleopatra. What would be thought of a French magistrate or a German magistrate who ordered a fair translation of Hamlet or of Lear to be burnt because of its obscenity? He would be regarded as demented. One can only understand such a judgment as an isolated fact, but in England this monstrous stupidity is the rule. Sir A. de Rutzen was not satisfied with ordering the books to be burnt and fining the bookseller. He went on to justify his condemnation and praise the police. "It is perfectly clear to my mind that a more foul and filthy black spot has not been found in London for a long time, and the police have done uncommonly well in bringing the matter to light. I consider that the books are likely to do a great deal of harm." Fancy the state of mind of the man who can talk such poisonous nonsense, who, with the knowledge of what Piccadilly is at night in his mind, can speak of the translation of a masterpiece as one of the most filthy black spots to be found in London. To say that such a man is insane is, I suppose, going too far, but to say that he does not know the value or the meaning of the words he uses, to say that he is driven by an extraordinary and brainless prejudice, is certainly the modesty of truth. It is this sort of perversity on the part of Sir A. de Rutzen and 9 out of 10 Englishmen that makes Frenchmen, Germans and Italians speak of them as ingrained hypocrites, but they are not nearly so hypocritical as they are uneducated and unintelligent, rebellious to the humanizing influence of art and literature. The ordinary Englishman would much prefer to be called an athlete than a poet. The Puritan Commonwealth Parliament ordered the pictures of Charles I to be sold, but such of them as were indecent to be burnt. Accordingly, half a dozen Titians were solemnly burnt and the nucleus of a great national gallery destroyed. One can see Sir A. de Rutzen solemnly assisting at this holocaust and devoutly deciding that all the masterpieces which showed temptingly a woman's beautiful breasts were foul and filthy black spots and must be burnt as harmful. Or rather, one can see that Sir A. de Rutzen has in 2½ centuries managed to get a little beyond this primitive Puritan standpoint. He might allow a pictorial masterpiece today to pass unburnt, but a written masterpiece is still to him anathema. A part of this prejudice comes from the fact that the English have a special dislike for every form of sexual indulgence. It is not consistent with their ideal of manhood, and like the poor foolish magistrate, they have not yet grasped the truth, which one might have thought the example of the Japanese would have made plain by now to the dullest, that a nation may be extraordinarily brave, vigorous and self-sacrificing, and at the same time intensely sensuous and sensitive to every refinement of passion. If the great English middle class were as well educated as the German middle class, such a judgment as this of Sir A. de Rutzen would be scouted as ridiculous and absurd, or rather would be utterly unthinkable. In Anglo-Saxon countries, both the artist and the sexual passion are under a ban. The race is more easily moved martially than amorously, and it regards its overpowering combative instincts as virtuous, just as it is apt to despise what it likes to call languishing love. The poet Middleton couldn't put his dream city in England, a city of fair skies and fairer streets. And joy was there. In all the city's length I saw no fingers trembling for the sword. Natheless they doted on their body's strength, that they might gentler be. Love was their lord. Both America and England today offer terrifying examples of the despotism of an unenlightened and vulgar public opinion in all the highest concerns of man, in art, in literature, and in religion. There is no despotism on earth so soul-destroying to the artist. It is baser and more degrading than anything known in Russia. The consequences of this tyranny of an uneducated middle class and a barbarian aristocracy are shown in detail in the trial of Oscar Wilde, and in the savagery with which he was treated by the English officers of justice. End of chapter 14. Recording by Martin Geeson in Haslemere, Surrey.